Hello there, and welcome to the Sportscast, a podcast for the sports enthusiast. I'm your host, Harold DeBarca, and for today's episode, we will be discussing about the NBA. I'm here with one of my good friends, Pablo. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? First of all, glad to be on this podcast. My name is Pablo. I am 21 years old and I am a fourth year in college.
All right? And what makes you a good candidate to discuss about the NBA?
Um, I would say the primary thing would be this is the only sport, or basketball is the only sport I watch, keep up with, and care about. And because of that, I devote mm, a lot of my attention to that sport, and I just love it.
All right? Well, let's start getting into the questions. Number one, who is your favorite player of all time and why?
This is a pretty easy one, and I think it's a common one for people my age, and I'm gonna go with Kobe Bryant. And the reason is, uh, I found the game of basketball in elementary school by playing with friends and stuff, but I never really watched it until one day I turned on the TV and I saw Lakers versus Celtics in the final series, 2009 or 2010. And I saw this guy with 24 on his chest, and he just made the game so much fun to watch. So I feel like it's only right that my favorite player is Kobe because he's one of the reasons I fell in love with basketball and the NBA.
I couldn't agree more. All right? Question number two, who is your favorite player in the league right now?
This is a tough one because as as a native Charlottean, I have two. Number one is the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry. I have never seen anything like this man. The way he plays, you almost never believe that the ball is going to go in every time he shoots it. But when it does go in, you're also not surprised. It's a weird mixture of you expect it to go in, expect it not to go in, but it goes in either way, and he shoots from 30, 40 foot range. So he just makes the game really exciting. But as I said, I am from Charlotte, and my favorite team is the Charlotte Hornets. So I gotta say LaMelo Ball is a close second. And I like him because he's one of the most unselfish players I've ever seen. He's flashy, he's fun to watch, and he just makes the whole team better. And he's honestly one of the few bright spots in the Charlotte Hornets franchise.
Apart from him as well as Gordon Hayward, I would say yeah. And
Correct.
so you touched on this a bit in your last answer, but I'll just go ahead and ask this. What is your favorite team in the NBA?
The Charlotte Hornets. And I could go and say the Golden State Warriors, I could say any other team, but the only connection I have to any other team is players that I like. So Steph Curry would be Golden State, but other than that, I don't really have anything that ties me to that team. Meanwhile, Charlotte, this is where I'm from. Like I moved here, and my earliest memory of any sort of professional basketball, besides the Lakers with Kobe Bryant, is going to Charlotte Hornets games. I saw Dirk and the Mavericks. I saw Kevin Durant. I saw the Warriors. I saw Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns, all of them against the Hornets, and we got beat almost every time. And now that we have a good rising star and possibly a franchise cornerstone, it solidifies my fandom for the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, I mean we really do have a team for the future with LaMelo Ball and Miles
A
Bridges,
hundred
PJ
percent.
Washington.
Exactly.
All right. Question number four. What do you think? Not what. What team do you think will be crowned national champions at the end of the season and why?
This is a tough one because there's like four teams that can really contend. In the West is the Lakers and the Jazz, and in the East it's the Bucks and the Nets. But really, I think it's between the Lakers and the Nets. And if I had to pick, I'm going with the Brooklyn Nets because I would find it very hard to believe that you have Kyrie Irving, who is a past champion and who's one of the best point guards in the game. You have Kevin Durant, the best scorer of all time, in my opinion, and a past champion, and James Harden, who was a former MVP, all on one team with the addition of Blake Griffin, who was Rookie of the Year, All Star very early in his career. There's just a lot of, and in today's league, it's a lot about, or it's mostly about offense and not a lot about defense. And so you can have defense all you want, but at the end of the day, if you get outscored, that's game. And I think the Brooklyn Nets are capable of doing that. LeBron and the Lakers, I mean, obviously they have Anthony Davis and he's a beast, but that's two All-Stars against three, and the
Four, kind
three
of.
in Brooklyn, yeah, the three in Brooklyn are all scorers. Meanwhile, LeBron is a facilitator most of the time, and Anthony Davis is a two-way player, offense and defense. But if I had to pick, I would say the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. All right, last and final question. Who do you think is the greatest player of all time?
I mean, I feel like most people bounce between Jordan or LeBron, but I'm gonna go ahead and say Michael Jordan. And this is my criteria for the greatest player of all time. To me, the greatest means who had the highest peak. If we're talking longevity, LeBron has been very, like, number one in the league maybe for a very long time. But I don't think his peak is the same as Michael Jordan's. And also Michael Jordan won six rings, obviously, to LeBron's four, and Michael Jordan only had one All Star the entire time, which is Scottie Pippen. Meanwhile, LeBron had Kyrie, he had Kevin Love, he had Dwayne Wade, he had Chris Bosh, he has Anthony Davis right now, and Jordan really had like the super quote unquote super team that Jordan had was Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is going to give you 0 points, but like 20 boards, and then Scottie's going to be your second guy. He's going to give you a solid 20 and 10 most nights. But the closer, the guy you can always depend on to me is Michael. I can't say the same about LeBron. So to me, I think the greatest is Michael.
I mean, that's an obvious answer. I agree with you. Jordan went 6 for 6. I think that's all you need to say.
Not a lot of people agree with that these days, but you know what? I stick to what I believe in.
I mean, you have to. So yeah. All right. Thank
Yep.
you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep. I'll see you next time.
See you.
Yep.